Chinese companies of new energy vehicles supported by long-term subsidies from the government have realized low cost and rapid growth in exporting electric vehicles, or EVs. Related to this industry, the new energy industry, including EVs, lithium batteries, and solar cells, the so-called three new products have become the main driving force of China's growth. However, with the current economic downturn in China and anti-dumping investigations in Europe and the US, the outlook for the new trio of products, which have been the driving export growth, is not good. Before discussing this topic, let's take a look at what a mechanic in China has discovered about the industry. I'm here to slander our designers again. I don't understand this issue in particular. I'd like to ask why they designed the vehicle this way. You see, here's a hybrid vehicle using gasoline and electricity with both exhaust and battery. I don't understand why the battery is located in the lowest part of the chassis. It's very puzzling to me in particular. Traditional gasoline cars all know that all rear parts such as the fuel tank and exhaust pipe are lower than the front chassis. From the perspective of the road, looking up, they are higher than the front chassis. From the car's perspective, looking down, they are lower than the front axle beam or subframe. That is to say, if a big rock is in front of it, it will first hit the front axle beam subframe. This is what the front axle beam looks like, and it's this thick. This thing can be replaced. If there is a boulder and the front axle beam is the lowest part, it will hit the front axle beam first. Then your car will stop or slow down. But isn't it scary if the battery is at its lowest point? Is it possible that the designer intentionally left such a bug so that the car would be scrapped preemptively? His discovery may explain why Chinese EVs catch fire so easily.
Whose car is it? Get the fire extinguisher. Get the fire extinguisher. This fire is scary. What's going on?
When selling EVs in China, customers are reassured that the insurance company will pay the full valuation of the vehicle if it spontaneously combusts. Buyers probably don't realize that there's a catch. That is, EVs depreciate in value very quickly. If you hit the battery, it's going to destroy the car. It's either a fire or it's a write-off. If the battery is damaged, the car will be scrapped. Some people may say, if it's scrapped, so be it. Still, there's the insurance company. You really don't understand what it means to scrap a car. Let's say you bought your car for over 300 RMB in 2020, and it's now worth over 200,000 RMB in the market. After only 2 to 3 years of driving, you've already lost more than 100,000 RMB, or 14,000 USD. Don't think that the insurance company can fully compensate you. No, the insurance company will pay you according to the market price and according to the insured amount. So don't rely on the insurance company, thinking that when your car is damaged, just go to the insurance company. No, don't assume that the insurance company will fully compensate you. It's unrealistic. First, you must avoid hitting the battery, which the manufacturer has failed to help you with. It has left the first line of defense wide open. Since the first line of defense fails, we have to reduce our speed to avoid hitting the battery. However, since the battery is lower than the front axle beam, the obstacle will pass through smoothly and hit the battery. If it's a gas tank, it'll leak and catch fire, and the same goes for the battery, right? Batteries are a lot more complicated than gas tanks. They either catch fire or go to waste. The entire design, be it from the side, front, or rear, the battery is at the lowest point. So, is it a deliberate bug to let the car be scrapped early? Will raising the battery up a little bit affect the seats? Maybe, but the seat should be able to change its height. It's something that can be solved by design. I don't understand this. Talented people, please show me what this is all about.
不理解，谁能告诉我这是为什么？哪个985教教我？
In fact, more and more Chinese car owners are finding that there are too many problems with the EVs that the government is pushing so hard. On January 3, 2023, a Chinese online media published an article admitting that in the past 2 years, many domestic car companies have released their high-end sub-brands and launched high-price models. But high-priced cars aren't the same as luxury cars, and luxury brands aren't built in just a few years. According to the article, when looking at the Chinese market, there are a lot of high-end car companies, but there aren't many brands that can really live up to the word luxury, especially the high-price models. They are called luxury only in terms of prices. As for the advanced technology, safety coefficients, unique designs, and other elements that should be matched with a luxury car can be said to be a complete mess. Look, this is a Huawei M5 Smart Driving Edition test vehicle. When it suddenly accelerated in reverse, it crashed into a BYD EV Dolphin behind it, and its rear wheel rode on the roof of the BYD. Huawei, a Chinese company, is now using patriotic slogans to get people to buy its cell phones, but it also uses the same slogans to promote its EVs. Recently, Huawei has been using AEB technology as its main promotional gimmick. AEB stands for Autonomous Emergency Braking. Huawei's high-profile move has upset the industry in China. In November 2023, the chairman of China's Xiaopeng Auto publicly blasted Huawei's AEB technology as fake. In response to questions from the media, the chairman said, "First, most people have probably never tried AEB, and second, I think 99% of what our friends have said about AEB is false, and it's fake, and none of the publicity is official. And it's all from short videos of private accounts. Our people also inquired about it. The AEB can't be implemented at all. There would be too many cases of false braking if it were used on the road." BYD is the dominant player in China's EV industry, but it also has a lot of problems. For example, a BYD owner said that he often feels misty-eyed when turning on the air conditioner, and his daughter inside the car often coughs incessantly. After realizing that it might be a problem with the air conditioner, he puts tape on the vents and finds out that the vents are spewing out a large amount of white powdery substance. Many people in car enthusiast forums have already reported that their vehicles have been hit by the same issue. Out of health and safety concerns, many owners demand that BYD provide them with an explanation and a solution. Later, the official statement by BYD said, "After testing, the powder is aluminum hydroxide, which is not harmful to the human body." Now, let's take a look at the future of China's new energy industry. Put simply, it's not good. China's new energy industry includes 3 new products such as EVs, lithium batteries, and solar cells. They are major drivers of China's economic growth. In the first half of 2023, the combined export growth of the 3 new products was 61.6%, boosting China's overall export growth by 1.8 percentage points. So, why is the outlook not good? Lithium is known as white petroleum, widely used in the new energy industry, high-end manufacturing, nuclear power field, as well as chemical and other traditional industries. China is the world's major lithium salt production base. Its production capacity, output, and consumption account for more than 2/3 of the world's total. In China, the proportion of lithium carbonate production is even higher, amounting to 60%. In Taizhou City of East China's Jiangsu province, the factory of a lithium battery enterprise is in full operation for fast deliveries to Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The products will be mainly used for energy storage for photovoltaic power stations and as a backup power source for communication. Taking the Middle East as an example, from January to September, the overall increment of new energy storage increased by 150% year-on-year, which is a sharp increment. Particularly, we are considering setting up our overseas pack battery assembly factory in the Middle East region, such as in UAE, with our delivery network covering the entire Middle East and Europe. Yet, the price of lithium carbonate futures collapsed recently. On December 5, 2023, lithium carbonate futures once again fell across the board, hitting new lows since listing, staging 2 consecutive declines, with all contracts falling below the 100,000 RMB mark. The short side won big. Yet, in 2022, the price of battery-grade lithium carbonate was once as high as 600,000 yuan a ton. The price of lithium carbonate has fallen 80% from the high point. Market experts expect the futures price may dip further to 80,000 yuan per ton. About 1/3 of the manufacturers have incurred losses at the current price level. The Canton Futures Exchange issued a reminder message twice on December 8th and December 13th, 2023, saying that the price of the lithium carbonate market has been fluctuating a lot in recent days and asking members to do a good job in preventing market risks. For the fall of lithium carbonate, one of China's new energy vehicle giants, the CEO of Li Auto, shared a Weibo post in a light mocking tone that says, "To support us to sell all electric models next year, lithium carbonate is giving all its might." Against the general bearish backdrop of the current upstream and downstream industry and various other industries, lithium carbonate is still experiencing downward pressure. This has led to the Chinese manufacturers of lithium carbonate recently pressing the pause button. One lithium salt enterprise has even used some of its lithium carbonate products as purchasing payments. The performance of many lithium mining listed companies such as Gangfeng Lithium and Salt Lake Holdings is expected to decline. In addition, in early December 2023, the price of industrial silicon, a future related to the solar photovoltaic or PV industry, also declined sharply. Industrial silicon is the first new energy metal futures listed in China, and polysilicon, the downstream of industrial silicon, is the main raw material for PV modules. Let's take a look at the capacity and exports of these 3 new products. First, EVs as one of the new 3 products. Statistics from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers show that China's exports of EVs increased from 240,000 in 2019 to 1.12 million in 2022. In 2022, a total of 5.67 million new energy vehicles were made by China, accounting for more than half of the global production. In 2023, globally, the estimated sales of electric passenger cars was 14.1 million units. Of these, China was expected to capture about 60% of the share. According to Chinese company BYD, it sold more EVs worldwide than Elon Musk's Tesla in the last quarter of 2023. The 2 competitors have been battling for the top spot in the sector over the last few years. The second product is the lithium battery. According to the data released by China's General Administration of Customs, the U.S. has become China's largest importer of lithium batteries for 3 consecutive years, accounting for nearly 20% in 2022. In terms of production capacity, China occupies 80% of the global production capacity. Third, solar cells. Currently, 3/4 of the global production capacity is in China. Since 2004, Europe and the US have been vigorously promoting energy transition, which has boosted the global PV market. The Beijing government saw the opportunity and actively supported many PV enterprises. In 2005, China's first private PV company was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. In 2007, China's solar cell production surpassed Japan, becoming the world's largest producer. In 2022, China's PV products exported more than 50 billion, an increase of 80.3% year-on-year. However, recently the share price of Suzhou Maxwell, a leading PV equipment producer, lost 40 billion RMB in market capitalization. Linyang Energy, the world's second-largest PV power plant investor, a listed company, has already sold its PV power plants at low prices. China's EV companies have been slashing prices, offering deep discounts and trying to clear its inventories. CATL, the leading listed lithium battery company, has seen its share price fall from more than 360 yuan in 2022 to more than 140 yuan by the end of 2023. Why is this? On the one hand, large-scale local investment in new energy industries in China has been hampered by a lack of capital due to the recession. According to a new report by Sino Research, a Chinese company providing third-party industry research, the amount of investment in new energy projects in China in 2022 was as high as RMB 9.2 trillion, or about USD 1.3 trillion. The new energy industry has become a key investment area in the emerging technology industry. The report points out that the most widespread application of new energy is currently focused on electricity and new energy vehicles. In January to June 2023, China's new energy project investment amounted to as much as RMB 5.2 trillion. However, as China's economy slumps further, problems are likely to arise in terms of investment funding, which will lead to a downturn in investment and reduce the demand for upstream raw materials. On the other hand, as China's economy slumps further, consumption in the new energy vehicle industry has shrunk sharply and sales prospects don't look good. The number of sales of EVs in the first 3 quarters of 2023 totaled 5.92 million EVs, less than 70% of the sales target. All manufacturers are now vigorously promoting and discounting their products, but the sales outlook is very bleak. The Chinese media have asked, why do EVs keep dropping in price? The second reason is that the new energy industry has long relied on the power of the Chinese Communist government to subsidize manufacturers and artificially suppress product prices. It's crushing the new energy industry in Europe and the US and other countries, capturing most of the global market share, and thus triggering anti-dumping investigations. The Chinese government decided in 2009 that it wanted to fully support the new energy industry, such as EVs, and began to provide subsidies. Some subsidies for new energy vehicles were even higher than the selling price of those vehicles. 3/4 of the world's lithium-ion batteries are made in China, and Chinese lithium-ion battery makers such as CATL have invested heavily in Xinjiang, using a large number of ultra-low-cost workers from Xinjiang. It can be speculated that once the European and American investigations into China's dumping are confirmed, China's new energy industry chain will face a collapse. In 2010 and 2011, China's PV module exports exceeded $20 billion. After a series of European and American double ante investigations, many Chinese PV companies have gone out of business as a result. The PV double ante case involves the highest amount in China-EU trade history. In October 2023, the EU formally launched an anti-dumping investigation of Chinese-made EVs. It'll be completed in 12 months and may be announced in the next 9 months of interim measures, such as the imposition of duties on anti-dumping, etc. On October 4, 2023, a notice in the official journal of the European Union stated that new battery EVs produced in China are suspected of receiving multiple subsidies from the Chinese Communist government, thus posing a serious risk to EU industry. This includes Tesla made in China, as well as BYD, SAIC Motor, and NIO. On August 18, 2023, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced the final results of its anti-dumping and countervailing investigations into China's PV products, finding that 4 investigated countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Malaysia, had engaged in nationwide circumvention. The investigation originated in 2011. However, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced the launch of anti-dumping and countervailing investigations on Chinese solar cells exported to the U.S. on the grounds that Chinese PV enterprises illegally dump polycrystalline silicon PV cells into the U.S. market, and that the Chinese government provided illegal subsidies, including supply chain subsidies and erected trade barriers, etc. In 2017, it launched the 301 investigation against Chinese enterprises. In 2018, former President Donald Trump imposed a 4-year tariff regime on solar imports using authority under Section 201 of the 1974 Trade Act. In 2021, the U.S. found that forced labor exists in Xinjiang and blacklisted 4 PV module manufacturers in Xinjiang. The futures market is for future pricing of commodities. Not only are prices for lithium carbonate and industrial silicon miserable, but also prices for hogs, for example, as well as many other commodity futures prices, have halved. Market participants are looking at the future prospects of China's economy in a very negative light. So, a layman may think that China's new energy industry looks prosperous. In the eyes of insiders in China, however, they already feel the risk and chill when looking ahead.